Hey everyone, Mr. Fox here, and today I've brought to you my Series 4 tier list for all of the Marvel Snap cards in Series 4. I'm going to rate every single one of them, and it's going to be based upon S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and then just pass. Like, you don't even need to buy the card. It's totally fine. We'll see how many land in each category. My S tier category is going to be based upon how much you should really buy this card, and it's going to meet these three categories, or hopefully there's three. It's going to be one, is this an overall just good card? Does it fit in a lot of decks? Number two, is it a archetype defining card? Meaning, like, you know, if you're going to play discard, then you have to play this card. I would consider that to be a S tier deck or an S tier card. And then, is this card just flat out fun? Like, I mean, look, it may not be the best out there, but man, it's so much fun. I really think you should buy that. That's going to be S tier. And then, of course, every tier less than that are going to be a little less than those qualities. All right, let's get started here. The first one is going to be Daken. Now, when Daken came out, he landed exactly where he was supposed to be, and he's probably going to be at the bottom of B tier, maybe top of C tier. I'm going to put him in B tier for now, just because Daken is only going to be good in destroy decks or discard. He's actually pretty much only played in the discard decks, and I would really only get him if you really want to be clutching complete, or you like that good discard deck that runs that Black Bolt stature package. Totally passable, fun to play, but not exactly a necessity for your collection. All right, Darkhawk. Darkhawk, my gosh, when this card first came out, this guy was so broken. They had to nerf him like a million times. But in this moment, he's gone from actually S tier, probably a bit above Daken in the meta that we have currently here today. He used to be super good, then they nerfed him into what he is here today. He can still be run in the rocks and socks, or rocks and whatever the deck is called, package, but not a necessity in today's meta. All right, Ghost Spider. I'm going to put Ghost Spider in the A tier, just because if you want to run a move deck, you have got to have Ghost Spider in your deck. It's not a question. Ghost Spider makes the move deck infinitely better, and I would recommend, if you are a move player, that you get Ghost Spider, because it's just overall so good. Gladiator. In the meta right now, I'm probably going to put him at the top of B tier, maybe at the bottom of A tier. Gladiator, when he first came out, everybody was skeptical about him, because Gladiator, he had this super big power, and he had this effect that sometimes just totally messed your deck playing up. But now he's in an okay spot. He used to be played in some like zero decks, sometimes in Silver Surfer. But Gladiator, I would say top of B, lower, maybe low A tier. We'll see how it comes. All right, Havok. Havok used to be played a whole lot, but I'm going to actually place him at the top of... I'm going to place him at the top of B tier. Based upon what I've seen in the matches that I've played, he's played in a very specific deck because he costs you energy, where on the top of turn 6, you don't really need a whole lot of energy. Some bounce decks maybe, or you have to kind of run Black Swan in them. But you know what? He's an okay card, but a very specific deck will use him. All right, Living Tribunal. I see a lot of Living Tribunal decks. It runs the package of Iron Man. It runs the package of Magic to do the turn 3 make one location into Limbo, so that way you have a 7-turn game, and then also Onslaught. If you don't have Enchantress against that deck, there's nothing you can do. And so in terms of making its own type of deck, in terms of like an ongoing Tribunal deck, I'm going to put this in the A tier. This makes its own, like, its own deck archetype, the Tribunal Iron Man Onslaught deck. And I just retreat oftentimes when I go up against it, because if I don't have Enchantress, there's nothing I can do. All right, Lady Deathstrike. Lady Deathstrike kills all. She got buffed within the, I think it was within the past couple of weeks. She got buffed to kill everything that is 3 power or less. Man, pretty niche in terms of its, pretty niche in terms of how it's played. I would actually put it at the, maybe, we're going to put it at the top of C tier for now. Just because very niche, probably in destroy decks or in some junk decks. Nebula. This card goes straight to the S tier, ladies and gentlemen. I think this was a season pass card from what I remember long ago. Guys, let me tell you, and the ladies that are watching, Nebula is just an overall fantastic card. It goes into many different types of decks. It's a good card. It's annoying to deal with against your opponent. It's fantastic. Get Nebula as soon as you can. All right. Phoenix Force. Phoenix Force is a deck archetype that it defines its own. And so you have Phoenix Force destroy decks. In my opinion, they're not that good. It's kind of like a one-trick pony, kind of like the Mr. Negative decks. It's kind of like one-trick pony. If you don't draw Phoenix Force, you can slip in the Nimrod package in there. In my opinion, it's just not all that good. I'm going to put that, though, in the middle of B tier. I would get this card if you are interested in exploring that new deck archetype, the Phoenix Force Destroy / Move deck. It kind of squeezes a bunch in there. But yeah, again, I don't think it's that good. And it doesn't really define the meta all that much. All right, Knull. This is just an overall good card and a staple for destroy decks. I'm going to put it at the top of A tier. The only reason why it's not S tier is because you're not playing Knull in any other deck but destroy. You're maybe Galactus. You're probably going to play this in a Galactus deck. But this is definitely at the top of A tier. If you want the best destroy deck out there, you've got to run Knull. I would highly recommend getting Knull for those destroy lovers. Okay, Ravonna Renslayer. She used to be good. They nerfed her power. She's still kind of good. She's typically run in, she used to be run a lot in the Living Tribunal Onslaught deck, so she can discount the Iron Man. I'm going to put her... I'm gonna put her at the top of B tier. That's what I'm gonna do. Just because anytime we have card discounts, it's always great to have card discounts, but she's just not played a whole lot anymore like she used to be, and that's why I'm gonna put her at the B tier. Kitty Pryde. Oh man, this is a hard one. Do we put her in S tier or do we put her in A tier? I'm going to put her at the bottom of S tier, and this is why. Kitty Pryde is run in every single bounce deck and or Thena / Selene / bounce or low guys, low number power Angela decks. That's what I'm thinking of. Kitty Pryde is just an overall good card. It's also run in Silky Smooth decks. If you guys know what that deck is, that's just, it's not necessarily moving your cards to gain power, but moving your cards to gain an advantage or put your opponent at a disadvantage. Kitty Pryde, when it first came out, it was broken. Like the card was literally broken. It broke the game. They had to take it back, and then they gave everyone else Kitty Pryde. I would highly recommend getting this card. Kitty Pryde is just an overall good card. All right. Man Thing. We're gonna put Man Thing probably in C tier. It's just not all that great, and I would say it's only great in some Spectrum ongoing decks. You have to run Luke Cage, and you hate to, take the power off of your own cards. So it's a pretty niche card. I got it a while ago because it was like the Halloween time and it was fun and it was like, all right, cool, man thing. Let's see what this card can do. Not essential to play for meta stuff. Get it if you only like negative decks or as in negative power decks. All right, Legion. I'm gonna put Legion in A tier. Definitely A tier. When this card came out and above Ghost Spider. When this card, nope, bottom A tier. Again, my opinion. Legion, when this card came out, was cracked, and now with the new War Machine meta, yeah, I'm gonna put it ahead. I'm gonna actually put it ahead of Legion and Ghost Spider. Okay, so this card, when it first came out, was crazy good. And then it kind of dropped off the meta, but now it's seen a huge resurgence recently with the War Machine lockdown deck. I don't know how long that War Machine is going to be the way that it is, but that card is still cracked. I made a video about it. But yeah, anyways, the War Machine lockdown deck with Legion is something that you're going to have to check out. Legion is being played a lot more. I put Legion in the A tier. Oh boy, Zabu. Okay. Yeah, it's going to go at the... Zabu is going to go at the bottom of C tier. Here's why. Zabu used to be one of the best 2-drops in the whole game. And they nerfed Zabu into the ground by making him an on-reveal instead of an ongoing. I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully they turn him into an activate card to, I don't know, make him useful. But now... very niche deck. Literally used to be one of the best 2-drops in the entire game, but nerfed him into the ground. Okay. Hercules. Now, I'm going to score Hercules a bit high. I'm going to put him at the top of B tier. Now, this is why I'm going to do this, because I'm a huge move fan, and Hercules makes move decks just slightly better. You don't have to have an amazing... in order to have the amazing move deck, you don't have to have Hercules, but he makes it at least a little bit better when you combine him with Ghost Spider. You're bouncing your Human Torches, you're bouncing your Vultures across the map. This is a good card for move deck. I like move deck. Get Hercules. Okay, MODOK. MODOK. If I put Ghost Spider in A tier, I'm going to put MODOK in A tier, at the bottom of A tier. Here's why. If you want a good classic discard deck, you have to have MODOK. If you like discard, you've got to have MODOK. You just have to have it. And that's the Apocalypse package with Dracula. That's what I would say for the MODOK is, if you like discard, get him purchased, spend the tokens, get the MODOK, if and only you're a discard fan. Okay. Jean Grey. I don't think she deserves C tier, but I am going to put her in the bottom. I'll put her slightly above Daken. Here's why. She is only good in the Spectrum ongoing decks. She's being actually, you know what? Let's put her a little bit higher, and here's why. She's also being seen in the War Machine lockdown decks now, so I would put her just around there. Not a hard pass, but not a hard purchase, because she's being used in those lockdown decks, but also those Spectrum ongoing decks. If those decks appeal to you, maybe a thought about maybe getting them, but you could pass on her. All right, Selene. Selene is just about where Jean Grey is when it comes to junk decks. She's not a must for the junk decks, but she'll make certain junk decks. She'll make your Green Goblins and your Hobgoblins all the more threatening to your opponents. She's one of those, if you don't have to have her for your junk deck. You don't have to have her, but if you are a big junk deck fan and you like experimenting with all those possible combinations, Selene's your gal. Hitmonkey. I'm actually going to put Hitmonkey more towards the top of... He was a season pass card that came out, and he was amazing at first. He's going to be right here. Yeah, he's going to be right here at the B tier. He was amazing at first, and they had to nerf him, unfortunately. Only get him if you like bounce decks, because he is a great turn 5, turn 6 finisher with a new Black Swan that now discounts as an activate card all your 1-cost cards. Yeah, only get him if you like bounce. I'm personally am not a big bounce fan, but only get him if you like bounce. All right, we have all these other ones. We'll go ahead and spread these out here. There was quite a bit of them, you guys. Okay, Snowguard. Oh man, Snowguard used to be cracked. She actually when Snowguard first came out, everybody hated her, and then she was changed. I think they changed her cost and her power, and then she was always played with the Loki decks, and then Loki decks got nerfed, and then all that stuff. I wouldn't say she's terrible. She's just not played a whole lot anymore. I'm just gonna, I mean, she's probably right here next to this. I haven't even seen her a whole lot around in the meta. So I'm just going to put her more, a fun card, definitely a fun card. But since Loki is not really in the meta a whole lot, I'd say Snowguard is in that B tier. Silk. Now, I'm a huge Moo fan. I'm going to be biased. Silk is a great card also for the silky smooth move decks. Actually, she's actually used more in the silky smooth decks. I may need to do a video about that. I'm gonna put her in the upper B tier just because. Oh, whoops. I'm gonna put her in the upper B tier just because she is a really fun card to play. You kind of have to be careful with her just in case she doesn't bounce or swing to a location that you're not really crazy about. But yeah, I'm gonna put her there. She's got good stats for her, and if you run a Craven, you might be able to build up some major power with her. Okay, Miek. Oh man. Yeah, C tier. He is discard only decks, and this is only if you like to experiment with move deck. With discard deck. Only if you like to experiment with discard. He can win you some games, but in terms of like the classic discard, you don't really need him. I've played with him a lot, well, quite a bit, and he's just not incredibly needed. Spider-Ham, I'm putting this guy in S tier. My goodness, what a card. I have gotten so frustrated and literally lost the game on turn 1 because I'm playing against Spider-Ham. Just an overall great card that it definitely has a way of often getting rid of your opponent's most important card in their hand. Absolutely. Get Spider-Ham. What a card. Okay, Nimrod. Nimrod, when it first came out, everyone was kind of meh, and then everyone was like, yeah, and then everyone's like, meh, and then now a lot of people are like, Nimrod. I'm going to put Nimrod at the bottom of A tier. He runs specifically in the Shuri kind of Nimrod decks, some of the Destroy decks, some of the Galactus decks. He is a fun card to play with if he pops off, if you get him to pop off, but yeah. Lastly, Mobius M. Mobius, and boy, oh boy, this might be a hard place. He's either going to be, I would say, towards the top of B tier. Here's why. Mobius is what we would call a tech card, and this is a great tool in your pocket to have if the meta shifts towards cost reduction. I know that's a big if there, because right now I don't think we're seeing a lot of cost reduction. Let's actually put him right here, because Mobius and Mobius is just a tech card that counters a lot of just all of the cost reduction decks. It shuts completely down the Mr. Negative decks. Like if you have Mobius and Mobius, and you play, and they're playing against a Mr. Negative deck, literally shuts them down instantly. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is my Marvel Snap Series 4 tier list. I hope you enjoyed. Now, notice, I didn't put any of them in the pass category, because to a certain extent, I believe that all of these cards can find their uses. I mean, now that I think about it, you could probably put Zabu in there. Zabu is just, it's just not great. But to a certain extent, every card in Marvel Snap does have its use. They just may not be the greatest use. If you enjoyed today's content, this is Mr. Fox here. Go ahead, please leave a comment down below. Do you agree with this tier list? Where would you put the cards that I have on my list? Would you rank some higher, and would you rank some lower? And if you liked the content today, please click the like button and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It gets my content out there. But as usual, as I say at the end of my videos, work hard, play hard, and enjoy your life. We'll see you in the next video.